All right, welcome to the Gentleman's Journal. I'm your man, Big Jack Story Time. And let me ask you something real tonight. If something happened to you tomorrow, would your family be protected? Or would you be passing a hat trying to figure it all out? I mean, we spend our whole lives paying for insurance, but how much is of that is actually, or do you actually understand? I mean, what you're paying. Is insurance really protection or is it a scam? So tonight, that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So I'm going to get my panel together. We're going to get our guys up here and we're going to break down, not trying to sell you insurance, but we're going to break down insurance in from our perspectives, from the men's perspective on, the types of insurance, the things that we've had in our lives, and the pluses, the minuses, the ins and the outs, and hopefully we expose the reality of insurance. So, welcome to the Gentleman's Journal, where real men have real conversations, and tonight we're talking insurance. And I don't want to hold anything back. I'm gonna get my guys up here on this stage so we can go. But before I do that, I'm to say over 100 million Americans don't have enough life insurance. Now, is that you? And I would just say in life insurance, but it's a whole lot more that we're going to be talking about. So, with that being said, I'm going to drop this thing, get them up on the stage. So, bear with me and welcome to the Gentleman's Journal. All right, all right, all right. What's up, gentlemen? How y'all doing today? I mean, you can talk. It's okay. Everybody can talk. Y'all good? Y'all good? I got my man. Can y'all hear me?
I do.
Okay, all right, all right. Walt's still working on his over there. Brother Keith, can you hear me down there? Keith, can you hear me? So Keith, now Fred, you can hear me, but Keith cannot hear me. I don't know what's going on with that. So, and Walt, can you hear me? I see Keith is working it out. All right, Fred, I don't know what's going on with them. Hopefully we can get them up and running. But we're here to the Gentleman's Journal. Thank you for being here with me and hanging out with me. Today we're going to be talking insurance. We're going to be talking different types of insurance, the different uh, uh, is it a scam? Is it real? How much have we put into it, and what can we get out of it? And I'm not asking you to be an expert on any of the matters. We're not trying to sell insurance. We're not even trying to make someone get it, but we're trying to get a better understanding of what it's all about. I'm not sure if Keith Mercer and Walt Jernigan can hear me right now. And that's Walt Talks over there. But if they can, I don't know what's going on with them. But Fred, you said you can still hear me, correct?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So I don't know what's going on with Keith. So let me try to figure out. I know they're working out some things. And Walt just popped off. Keith, can you hear me? Nah, he's not hearing me. So I'm gonna see if I can Fred before we get something, see if I can get him to go out and come back in. So
Okay.
that's sometimes. Yeah, that's one of the things that's one of the things that we run into technical issues, and I don't know what happened. All we did was hit the live button, so we'll see if he can go out and come back in. Ball, can you hear me now?
Hey man, this iPhone 3 has a mind of its own right now. Yes, sir. What's happening, Jack?
It's all good.
Gentlemen,
It's all good.
gentlemen.
It's all
And I
good.
think you
So
just I lost you again.
I don't know what it is. So let me unhook what I got and see maybe that'll do it. So
I can't hear
I'm gonna
you,
take my
man.
stuff off. All right, Fred, can you hear me?
Yes, again.
All
I
right,
got
so
you.
that's good. So everybody can hear me. So
But
sometimes it could be me. So I don't know what it is.
yeah,
Keith, can
man,
you
you
hear
were
me
like
now?
coming in and out.
All right,
Yes.
but can you hear me now?
I hear you now. Can you guys
Yes.
hear me?
Yes,
Sorry for the
yes,
amateur
yes.
hour, but
So
you can't
yes,
hear me?
right. So
Okay.
we're only 5 minutes into the show. We're still trying to figure
Hey,
out can we hear. And it's funny because we come here 30 minutes before the show just to go over all the
exactly.
and as soon as you hit that live button. But you know what? That's just how life works. And guess what? That goes perfect to what we're talking about today, because we're talking about insurance and how I don't have no insurance that every time I hit that live button, we're going to get a good connection and everything's going to work. But that's one of the things I wanted to talk to you about today. And it's more, we know that there's certain things that you have to have. There's certain things, if you're driving a car, if you own a home and things like that. But how many of us, or how many people in the world don't have it or can't afford it, or playing the game? They think it's a scam, or they look at it in different ways. And I'm trying to ask you as men, um, not to be selling the product, but your idea or your mindset or your opinion of the product. Because I like to say, we talk about life insurance, we talk about health insurance, we talk about auto insurance, homeowner and renter insurance, disability insurance, short-term and long-term care insurance, business insurance, supplemental insurance, and one of the things that someone had mentioned to me, cell phone insurance. Do you even get the cell phone? And I didn't even include travel insurance. So those are some of the things that we run into just on a day-to-day basis. And I had a poll, and I'm gonna put that poll up later for those who are visiting. And thank you for those who are watching the Gentleman's Journal today. But here's a question for you: at what point does insurance become a necessity or just another bill? We've been conditioned to accept. So at what point has insurance become a necessity or just another bill that we've been conditioned to accept? And I can throw that to any of y'all. So any one of y'all can speak up on me right now. Anybody? Come on. Go ahead, Fred.
If you own a house, it's a necessity because
Okay.
so much can go wrong with your house, not just for what happens with you, but from the weather or any outside activities. A tree fall in your house, somebody mess around and hit the gas instead of the brake when they pull up to your house. So house insurance is a necessity to
Okay.
to prepare you for the unexpected. That's what it does.
Mm. So is that what insurance it does? Is that what the whole purpose of it is, to protect you from the unexpected? I mean, and
That
that's in anything, I guess, if we look at it that way. That's what anything is.
yeah,
What do you think,
that's
you keep? I'm sorry,
yeah.
go ahead. Yeah.
No, I'm just gonna say, yeah, that's what insurance is for the unexpected.
Okay.
Absolutely. And I think even before that, I think just the education of insurance is very important. And for people growing up like we grew up, that really wasn't a big thing, because I could remember seeing my parents at the table trying to decide, am I going insurance or rent,
Mm,
insurance or food, where when you're in survival mode, and again, and you're not educated with that process of insurance and what it can do and how it can help you. I mean, I think that's the big thing, is educating people on insurance and why it's important. And it's very important. I know, like for me, business insurance, I didn't realize that I could do something, or someone else could do something in my care, and then I get sued. And it's that insurance that helps out with that. So I think it's so important, and we just need to continue to educate people on why they need insurance.
okay. All right. All right. So, and that's a very good point, because I know every year, you're redoing your insurance in one way or another. I'm thinking more on the health insurance side. When that window opens up, and you get to select what plans you're going to go with and who you're going to cover and things like that. That you do make a big decision. Am I going to, or can I afford to cover the whole family? Or what I'm saying, and if you're in a position where you can't, which ones don't get on the list, and that's unfortunate. A lot of times, I know, like the way I work at is, you get a family plan. So it's you plus your kids, or it's you plus your spouse, and then it's you plus everybody. But we're at the point now that I have to pay a fine or a premium, basically, if I add my spouse on. So, and so if my spouse's job offers insurance and they don't take it, I have to pay extra because they're on my insurance because they could have got it from their own company. And so that was different. When I first went in play, I was like, whoa, what? So it's cheaper for them to go on their company's insurance than it is for me to pay the premium for have them on my insurance. So those are things that's real. That's something that you deal with on the regular. But do you believe insurance truly provides security, or does it create a false sense of safety? And I'm gonna go with you, Walt. What do you think?
Uh, I think insurance is meant to fill the gap, so to speak. And let me say this right away. I can hear you and Keith fine, but I still can't hear Fred. So I hope I don't piggyback on what he said. But I think it's to fill the gap. So if I wake up dead and I'm missing out of the equation, you know, can my family uh, move? Can they live their lives without me there? I think that's the thing. The obvious: car, auto, home, yada yada yada. That's the easy. But I'm at a point in my life where I got to make a decision. I guess when I hit 65, I got about 3 years where the way my insurance is set up, my life insurance is set up through my job. You know, when you get 65, the value goes down unless you pay more of a premium to keep it at that level. So I have a few friends that are going through that right now. I know that's not an easy thing to do. And back to what Keith said, man, you still got to make these decisions. And right now, hey man, it's tough because everybody's hurting. And as far as health insurance, my health insurance is pretty good. Um, they love me at the doctor's office and the dentist's office, but they say, "Oh man, you got that good insurance. We love you." But I don't know what that means because I've been with the same insurance company my whole life. But you're gambling. You're betting that you don't need it. And you're hoping, and hope is very necessary. But I understand that hope is not a plan. So it's a touchy thing, man. And then when you think about people who do not have insurance, or people who are self-employed and have to pay a huge premium, I can't even imagine, man. When I hear people with horror stories about what people pay, the old joke in the community is, she married me for my insurance. And we all laughing because we've all heard that. Girl, he's got good insurance. You might want to marry that guy. We've all heard that at some point. So
Yeah.
it's a mixed bag, man. It's a really mixed bag. It's a great topic because
Yeah.
it's real. It's real life. So great discussion.
No, and that,
Real-
again, we
yeah.
say we want to talk about it because the fact that so many people, I'm not gonna say they don't have it. They might not, they got, some people got the bare minimum. We talked about auto insurance. So you have auto insurance because if you are still financing your car, the state requires you, well, one, the state requires you to have insurance.
Hmm.
And finance company is going to require you to have insurance as well because of the fact that if something happened, but you know that your car has depreciated from the minute that you drove it off that lot.
Hmm.
So now you got gap insurance to cover the difference between what it was when I bought it and what it's worth now.
Hmm.
So that if something happens. So how many don't get the gap? How many people don't get the gap insurance? I'm not covering that. It is going to be what it's going to be. And I'll just, like I say, it's a gamble. And that's very unfortunate for a lot of people because we're in that world, but we constantly gambling with a lot of life lessons. So I'm throwing this out there to you. What's that one? Go ahead.
No
What's
good.
that one thing that you already know in your lifetime that you gamble with in your younger days that maybe as you got older you said, "Hey, let me fix that." And go ahead, Walt. Go ahead.
So I've had a few cars wrecked. None of them have been my fault. And I learned early that the gap insurance is a decent thing. So from that day forward, I have never left the car lot. And shit, man, probably my last 12, I bought used, like I'm a CarMax guy. I guess that's a commercial. Sorry about that. But before that, when you go to the dealer and your car gets crashed and you're upside down, you found out quickly that if you didn't have gap, you were done. So from that point forward, I never financed a car for more than the true value in considering the depreciation. You know what I mean? If I could still walk away from it, that's what it is. But I'm not taking a car, because car salesmen, I mean, no disrespect to the car salesmen out there, but they can make it work however you need it to work, and you can walk out of there, with a new car, and if anything goes on, you're gonna need your arm and your leg to pay it off. So I've just always made it my business from that first experience I had to always make sure that I put enough down on a car if I bought a new car. Uh, or if I bought a used car and financed it, I made sure that I had enough money, enough equity in it, so I wouldn't have to deal with the gap insurance.
Gotcha.
That's been my thing. Yeah.
Very good point. And while we're on the car, so I'm just going to throw this out there, gentlemen. So I don't know if any of you ever had to do it, but as a delivery driver for Pizza Hut or Domino's and any of those other companies, and no, I'm not getting sponsored by any of them, but if you're a Lyft driver or Uber driver, all those things, and all you're using is the same car insurance you had when you was just driving to your regular 9 to 5, are you putting yourself in jeopardy? And I think you talked about that earlier, Fred. So can you touch on that just a little bit?
Yeah, if you're delivering pizzas in your car and your insurance company doesn't know about it and you have a problem, they may not cover you at all because they're recovering it for everyday use from driving from home to work and back from work to home, that type of thing. They wasn't covering you for commercial use. And so you may not get paid. Now, I believe Lyft and Uber, they actually take out some insurance to help their drivers and also to help cover their passengers. But if you're doing this other delivery stuff, some of that's going to be at your own risk unless you took out additional insurance.
Wow. Okay. And I know a lot of people don't realize that. And a lot of people don't. And I even heard the other day, and that's something that, triggered part of this discussion, that if you alter your vehicle, if you trick it out, bigger tires, this lifts and all of that, they can also not honor that insurance because they insured a car that was one way. You changed that car and if you didn't let them know, then you definitely can run into something, run into where they don't have to honor it. No different than, and we're going to switch to homes real quick. If you add a satellite dish or solar panels to your roof, you got a 30-year warranty on your roof, and you change and add more stuff to that changed the warranty. So your homeowner's insurance, if your roof cracked or leaked and you put something up on there, they can actually say, you didn't let us know or didn't tell us in advance that you were doing these things to your home. So again, I'm back to, is this a scam going on, or it's like I'm paying this top dollar and I'm not getting, I'm not getting my money. I'm not getting my money's worth because you pay in a lot and hoping never to make a claim. So should you get your money back? What y'all think?
I think so. But hey, insurance salesmen, their job is to make money. And hopefully that, you don't have to take them up on that check. But they say we work more dead than alive. So
Yeah.
when it comes to security, I mean, everything we do is involve insurance. I mean, like everything. Like you said earlier, man, your phone. That's the first thing they ask you. Do you want insurance? You want to
Mm-hmm.
insure your phone? It's anything dealing with business. Hey, you have insurance? Anything dealing with whether you have an animal, lawn care. I mean, will your insurance cover it? I mean, so I think it's just one of those necessities of life to protect yourself, unless is it DC or is it Maryland that has the no fault? Which one
No
is that?
fault. Yeah. Uh,
I know DC, I think, is
I
no
think
fault.
DC and Maryland has the PIP situation and all that. I've been robbed by them before too, with a car
Well,
that
and
got
see,
hit.
and that
Yeah.
And that goes again to the education point. I think we should figure out a way to have insurance companies actually give us exactly what we need, and we need to be reading those fine prints, because that's like I said, that's important. And even not to switch the subject, but I mean, think about this. We have people that their jobs, they get a certain job because of the insurance. I had a teacher that say to me that, that's part of being a teacher because you get good insurance. Like the
Hmm.
police is the same way. I've seen commercials that say because of the insurance, let's get this job as opposed to going into a career. I mean, insurance is that important.
It's huge. I mean, 100, especially when you're talking health insurance, and because that's one of the big things. Yeah, me being in the military, when I was in the military and a veteran, two of my kids were born while I was in. I think I paid $30 for each one of them. Where had I been a civilian, and had to go through that same process, it wouldn't have been $30. So it was the insurance, the coverage that we had, which is really good. But it's just one of those things where how many people are actually they're underinsured, or they don't have enough insurance, and then the confusion, because why do I have to pay health insurance, but I also pay vision insurance and dental insurance when all that's still connected to me? So what's the difference, and why do I have to pay three different insurances for that, and then short-term disability, and then long-term disability, and then you got things like Aflac and those other ones where it's more supplemental insurance
Hmm.
because of the difference. Me just going through I would say the health scare I had just a couple of weeks ago, but I'm now seeing bills come in now, and I'm like, wow, wait a
Hmm.
minute, because yeah, your insurance covered all of this, but they didn't cover this, and this. And just the copay alone,
Yeah.
Yeah,
going in every time I had to go see a doctor now, it's like $40. And I'm like, wait a minute.
yeah.
So every time I come see you, I gotta pay 40. Like, yeah. I'm like, it adds
And
up.
that's
It adds up quick. Yeah, it adds up
and
real
remember
fast.
too, even now, if you go to the hospital, if you go to the ER, first thing they ask you is, do you have insurance? They don't ask you if you're okay. They ask you if you have insurance.
No, and I'm legit. And that is 100%. And I want to thank Monique out there for drop. And she paid or put in $10. So we thank you, Monique, and said I love you guys. So thank you for that, and thank you for all who are watching the Gentleman's Journal
Yes.
at this time. But that is legit. That is 100%. And like I say, it's so many different angles and so many different things that we could talk about on the insurance level.
Yeah.
But it's just and even at ages. So I got a question for you all. So I don't know if any of you were able to use this benefit. I know, Keith, I think your kids are younger, so you're using it. You just haven't been able to cross that line. But the Affordable Care Act, when it went in play, that kids could stay on until they were 26. That was huge because that fell right with my kids, so they were able to stay until they were 26, and that helped a lot. They went from 21 to 26 and all, and that was huge. That was huge for me. So I'm gonna ask you, Fred, did you was you able to take advantage of that, or did it help?
Yeah, yep. I was able to take that and keep them on there till they were 26, which helped out a lot because they was in college or just getting out and they still looking for a job. So until they got a job, they were still being covered. So yes, that was a good thing for them.
Right, no, and see, and a lot of people don't realize that, and they don't think about that part. And if you wasn't able to use it, I don't know, but what about Walt? Was you able to use that, or was it
Man, my,
past?
my, my daughter is 44. That was way past her
Yeah, ran
time,
past
man.
it. Yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah. But I will say this. I remember when she had to go to get braces.
hmm,
And this is when I knew the hustle was on. My insurance wouldn't cover her braces because it's cosmetic.
medic. Oh yeah,
But had she fallen down the steps and hurt
Mhm.
herself and messed her teeth up, she would have been eligible for braces. So, me, with the sick sense of humor that I have, I said, "Are you encouraging me? Are you sending subliminal messages?" Just joking, right? But you think about it, and then you get the braces. You pay out of pocket for the braces, and then you need to make sure you get the insurance on the retainer, because I can't tell you how many retainers went in the trash with a lunch.
Mm.
So now my grandkids are in braces, and I'm having this conversation. I'm waiting for them to throw the retainer away, and I'm waiting for her to say something other than, "Let me just replace it," because that's what I did. That's what I did for her. But again, insurance, man, you're betting that it won't. You're almost betting against your life, right? Is that how it goes? You're betting that it won't happen.
Oh yeah.
But let me say this: I got a buddy who's a preacher, and he always says every time he does it, he's a fire department chaplain, as a matter of fact. And he always says, "I know you have insurance, but do you have assurance?"
Assurance. Yeah.
And you know what that get, and you know where they get that from, right? But
Yeah.
but if you think about it, even insurance gives you assurance in those times. So hey man, you don't want to be caught without it if you can get it. A lot of people are making gambling and with the chances, taking chances, not getting it. Uh, I've seen, unfortunately, people who've paid insurance through their houses, their mortgages, pay their houses off and don't pay the insurance, and their houses have burned down
Mm.
because for 30 years they've been paying the mortgage. So it's been escrowed, and then they pay their mortgage off, and they just haven't. It hasn't dawned on them that they need to start paying insurance out of pocket.
Mm.
And I've seen it happen, man, more than once in my career. Of people's houses literally burned down to the ground, and they had no insurance. So, you got to stay on top of those things. Like you said, you got to reevaluate your situation, because your what they call it, life events. These life events change, right? So
Right.
you have to keep up with what's going on in your life, man. And if you have an insurance agent, you know you'll never have enough insurance. You will never have enough insurance if you listen to your insurance agent. So you gotta kind of figure out where your level of comfort is, so to speak.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and that is true. That is 100% true. So I got a question for you, and
Mm-hmm.
so I have a car. I paid off my car.
Mm-hmm.
What type of insurance should I have now? Should I keep full coverage, or should I go liabilities? What should I do now? I
I,
paid it
I
off.
I just went through that. So all of my cars are done. I mean, and I've been paying full coverage forever. So the first of the year, I usually reevaluate all my stuff, right? So, and part of you is like, I don't need to do this. I can just go collision, because you got to have insurance if you hit somebody. But part of you is like, man, it's almost like the kiss of death. Because I don't know about you guys, but I got that one. Oh yeah, man, I just paid it off. Dropped the insurance, man. Joker came and wrecked my car, and I'm done. So now it's still only worth what it's worth.
Mhm.
But again, back to all of those improvements you talked about, and I'll use my motorcycle as an example. To me, my motorcycle is worth $1 million. My cars and everything are stock, but your motorcycle, man, you get into a lot of extras, on your motorcycle. So I just feel like I still feel like I'm paying too much, but I'm also in a point in my life where I know the cost. Where I don't want to be a person who knows the cost of everything and the value of nothing. So I'm a value guy more than a cost guy. So I try to make sure that I try to get that balance between getting the most value and if it costs a little more, that's what it is. But that peace of mind is cool. And then as you get older, you're more apt to be able to dig in your pocket and pay. Just like you get the broken window, the broken windshield, right? It always costs $25 less than what your deductible is. So if you make a claim, your insurance is going up, so you just pay out of pocket. That's what it is, because you can't, unless you can run the dump truck down and get some money out of him. But that's happened to me on more than one occasion.
Mm.
So
Okay. All right. No, I mean that's all legit. So let's talk. You're renting a home, or you're renting an apartment. You're renting a car, rental cars. Do you get their insurance, or do you use your own homeowner's insurance? How do you work that one out? I'll go with Keith. I'll let Keith go on this and then go to Fred. Yeah.
That's a tricky one, and I think every household is different, right? I mean, I think that's coming to the table and seeing what works for you in that moment. And that comes back down to the education part of it. I mean, we know we need it. A lot of the things that they don't tell you, but I know, like with me, my mom lives in North Carolina. Well, thankfully, he has flood insurance. And part of that too is knowing where you're living, because you can be in a flood zone, flood area, right? So it's trying to educate yourself on what's best and what you needed, as opposed to if you somewhere and you're in a high elevation, you wouldn't need flood insurance. You know what I mean? So I think every household is different. And then like Walt said, man, and kind of ensuring the things that matter to you. But I know us as men, as fathers, we also want to make sure that if we're not here, that we're taking care of our family. You know what I mean? That again, that they're taken care of, that we're able to continue to keep the family going. So it really depends on every family's different. You know what I mean? Cars might mean more to us than to Walt. It might be his bike. It might be his bike. So I think we just need to look into where you're at, what zone you're in, especially when it comes to homes and apartments, and where you're at with your insurance and what you need the most. Because we really gotta, I mean, guys, we really gotta look at worst case scenario, right? What if this happens?
What
Mm,
if?
I mean, and then because people could come after us, right? People could sue us.
you're
I
right.
mean, if this is your fault, that's negligence. Then what? You know what I mean? Then you got to give up, like Walt said, man. You got to give up one of those knees. We don't want that. We want to make sure we're always protected and our families are protected.
That's a good point. Very good point. So, Fred, I got a question for you. Should it be like hitting the lottery when you pass away? I mean, God forbid, we don't want you to go anywhere, but should I have enough in there so everybody get paid that you're gone? Is that how it works?
Great question.
Well, you want to have enough insurance that everything that you leave behind is taken care of. Like a
Okay.
lot of people don't take out life insurance when they buy a house.
Mm,
But just think, if you take that insurance out, it's not that much to add life insurance to a house, so that when you're gone, if you paid 15 years into it, the life insurance will come in and pay off the balance. So you're still going to own that house that you paid 15 years into already. So I think that's a good idea to get insurance on some things. And if I rent a car, I'm going to take out the insurance. That insurance usually runs what, $7, $8 a day or something. Well, if I have an accident, it's going to cost me more than $7 or $8 times five to pay them back to repair their vehicle. So it's worth it for me to pay a car insurance.
no,
And sometimes I look at my policy that I have. I believe it covers rental cars. So you got to look at the print in your policies and see what they cover.
but saying, and that is true. Sometimes your policy might already have that coverage in there, like my homeowners covers rental and things like that. But it's like I don't want to file a claim against my own insurance. So I'll pay the extra $7,
Yeah.
$10
To
so I
be able
can
to
just
walk away
use
from it.
yours and I don't have to
Yeah.
deal with that. Yeah. So that's
Walk away.
where it comes down to, you know, it's like you say, it's cheaper for me to give you than if I mean I got a $500 deductible on my home or whatever my
Hmm.
deductible is, I got to go through that before I can even get to the other part.
Hmm.
I'm just going to pay, yours,
Yeah.
and get your deal. Go ahead, Fred.
You know what a lot of people especially in our community, don't look at? That's burial insurance,
Mm,
you know? But
uh,
it's out there. And it's been out there since I remember in high school because my buddy, he bought it way back when he started working uh, right out of college. So that when he dies, his funeral's all taken care of.
mm,
In my case, I have burial insurance. When I die, my funeral's taken care of up to $15,000. So if you spend over $15,000, that's on you, you know. But my point is, burials aren't cheap. They're
No.
not cheap. And so, you know, people have to do GoFundMe's and or go knock on the cousins and uncles and grannies' doors and get the money to bury people. And but burial insurance is another thing that I think, and I'll just use the black community because that's not something I think we think about all the time, is burial insurance.
No, and that's a good point. Now, that's another one to add to the list. There's so many different insurances out there that we cross every day. We don't even realize some of them. You just, you buy electronic in the store, and you're getting insurance on that electronic for 2 years, 3 years, or whatever. The appliance in your home, and you're getting insurance on the AC units and the stoves and the yeah, we call them warranties, but it's just an insurance. There's a policy to say, hey, if something go wrong, we're going to cover it. But I'm getting ready to go on a trip. I'm getting ready to go on a cruise. Do I get the travel insurance that I'm getting ready to go to? That's to say we're going to the Bahamas. I got to fly down to Miami. I'm going to get on a cruise to the Bahamas. Am I getting that travel insurance? How many of you get in travel insurance when you go somewhere? And go ahead, Walt. That's it. That's on you.
I wasn't a big travel insurance guy. My mother's been gone 4 years, but when she was sick for like those 5 years that she was actually just kind of like declining, if I would go somewhere, I'd get the insurance because you just didn't know the unknown. You just didn't know what was going to happen, And I'm an only child. I had to be there, right? So I did that. I know it's somewhat of again, man. It's like anything else. It's a hustle until you need it, and then you glad you had it, right? So that's just life 101, man. Um, the other one is back a little. When I was working, I made sure I had the insurance because I was a motorcycle guy. But once I stopped working, when I say like the extra insurance in case I got injured, on so if I missed work. But once I retired, I let that go, because again, you're trying to fill those gaps. But that trip, man, it can get kind of touchy too because some of these companies are third party companies, man, and their policy is only as good as the paper is written on sometimes, right? When you read the fine print, I mean, you sign it and you check the box, just like at the rental car, you check the box and then you don't really know the fine print until you need to use it and they tell you, yeah, but you got it on a Tuesday, so if you had the accident on a Tuesday you would have been fine, but you got it on a Wednesday, it doesn't work for you. So
Mm.
just all kind of stuff, man, and I'm exaggerating, but it just seems like it's not geared in your favor. It's not geared in your favor. And I come from a profession where they tell you walking in the door, take 10 years off your life automatically.
Right.
Automatically 10 years off the average guy your age doing something else, just take 10 years off of your life right now. So you just kind of know that going in. So you just want to play with house money as long as you can. You want to retire and get as much back as you gave them and then have a discussion about getting out of here if you can help it. So
Yeah, no, that's good. So we got a couple of comments in the chat, and I'm just not the one of them. Someone's asking you, Freddie or Frederick Jackson, are you the Freddie Jackson, the singer? So
Uh, just like my singing career and being on this show, I don't get paid for either one.
okay, all right. So just answer that question. That is not the Freddie Jackson, the senior. So
yeah.
all right. But then I see Monica saying that they don't do the travel insurance, but Sharon
Mhm.
Jackson said they do the travel insurance. So it is a big difference between, some people go for it, some people don't.
Mhm.
They, you know, how many of you, I mean, I guess have heard and use umbrella insurance? Is that something that, okay, so I see the hands are going up. So umbrella insurance, for those who don't know, what is that? Can you explain this a little bit? I'm going to say, Walt, give me some, and then Fred, give me some, and all
it
y'all.
just it just kind of encompasses everything. It kind of like, you know, the unknown that happens. Somebody comes, falls on your deck, yada yada yada. They hit your insurance. The umbrella kind of covers you for all the other stuff. It's like an umbrella. It just kind of, the long story short, just covers you for. And I just got umbrella insurance probably in the last 6 months.
Mm, okay.
Probably in the last 6 months. What's this? No, not even last 6 months. This is This is April, 4 months. Yeah, first of the year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, for what it costs and what it's worth, and everything. When anybody's selling you anything, whether it's insurance, anytime somebody's selling you something or putting a fee on it, they always equate it to it's less than a cup of coffee. It's less than a cup of coffee, right? So, oh man, why didn't you just say that? Yeah, okay. So I mean, but if you think about how much money you go and spend in the coffee shop every morning, that adds up too. Or your lottery tickets or whatever your thing is. But umbrella insurance, I recommend it. And then we haven't even talked about the shysters out there. I'm talking about the people who are slipping fall artists who really they get their money's worth out of insurance and your insurance too, because they'll come slip fall, you know, personal injury, all of those things run our premiums up, as well as auto theft, vandalism. Those things all run premiums up. So people think that it doesn't matter, but it does, especially when you get into workers' comp injuries. A lot of times we all know people who probably been denied workers' comp. And then we know guys who've been milking the system. At least I do. You know. So it's that whole insurance piece, man. This is a great discussion, man, because it's a can of Jack. You again open a can of worms, man. So
No, no, I mean it's real. I mean, there's a real topics, and we're not,
mhm.
just making up anything as we going. So is there I'm too young to get insurance? So like life insurance. I know we a lot of people. I mean, I have life insurance on my kids.
Yeah,
And then that's another thing I want to throw out there and ask: is it wrong to have life insurance on other people? So, say you have a elderly parent, or should you? Because if they do pass, someone's going to have to foot that bill at the end. And so, is it wrong to put a policy on that person? Keith, I'm gonna go with Keith on this
yeah.
one. So
Mhm,
if he, yeah,
I that's a tricky one because I've actually experienced that
mhm.
from like Walt say from the shysters. I think that's a great discussion. That's a great discussion. I Depending on what that family dynamic is, usually it's the oldest that that the let's say parents or grandparents notify, listen, this is what we have, this is what's going on, where you got a lot of old school elderly that don't believe in it, right? As opposed to that next generation that understands it's important. When you do leave, we want to make sure that your assets and everything is covered so you can pass it through the family. Now you do have some shysters in the family that they all they see is dollar signs. They want to have their own life insurance on whether it's your parents or your grandparents. I think that again, it's those conversations and talks that, especially in the Black community, we need to have. Those are hard talks. I mean, it really is because no one wants to talk about dying,
yeah,
Yeah,
being protected. You know what I mean? You want to live while you can live. But those are just real tough questions, man, that we see this is such a great topic, man, because we're living this, right? I mean, every day we've seen how it can tear families apart with insurance, right? Well, we should get this or we should get that. Well, no, this is why it's important for you to know what that policy is and to be able to get what you need. And that's the importance about that umbrella, especially if you have a business.
mm,
Especially if you have a business, you can set that umbrella up, be able to cover your assets so people can't come for you and your personal stuff, as opposed to all thing they can get is the business insurance.
okay,
Yeah, as opposed to coming and taking you built with your wife, with your spouse. That's why it's important to have. But you just hope, man, like Ross says, you hope you can find a good insurance person and not a shiesty one, because they can sell you, man. They can sell you water in the desert.
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I remember, we're going to talk to you, Fred, because I think you're the oldest on the panel. So I know you're the oldest on the panel. And Sharon Jackson made a comment. No, especially if they don't have their own. So it's okay to have insurance on others if they don't have their own. So you're covering them. But Fred, do you remember when the family had a insurance agent, that you had the same agent? You knew that person was coming. You called your insurance guy, or do you have an agent? Do you have one that's
That's back in the day. What are you trying to say, man? No, actually, I remember when they used to come door to door, but I wasn't at that age. I wasn't dealing with them, so it didn't mean anything to me. But I think it's okay to get insurance on other people because we're going to go right back to a couple things. Death, burial insurance. If that person dies and got to be buried, uh, it'd be nice if you didn't have to reach in your own pocket to bury them because they wasn't prepared and didn't have assets. And if they own a house and you wanted to stay in the family, somebody got to pay them property taxes, you know? So if you got an insurance policy that you took out on somebody else, that somebody's going to be in control of that money to take care of burying them, pay property taxes, do whatever else to keep whatever you had still belonging to you, I think it's okay to have some insurance on other people that you're paying for. But it can create a problem because if I'm paying for it, does that mean it belongs to me? Or do I have to still split it up between other people? So it's a tricky thing, but you'd have to have a conversation with other people to decide on getting the insurance, and then everybody should be sharing and then paying it so that whenever
Mhm.
something goes down, they share in the benefits of having that insurance.
I mean, that's legit. If everybody's going to pitch in, as I see Sharon Jackson make a comment, you can always have a yard sale. So yeah, they have a yard sales trying to take care of somebody's funeral or whatever.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and it don't have to be a funeral. I
Yeah.
mean, a person gets sick or go to the hospital. I mean, an ambulance ride can break a person right now. An emergency visit. I get what they call it, a flexible spending. So, and then that's something that you get in the beginning of the year, and you say, okay, I'm gonna need this much for what I already know I'm going to go through, and I throw a little extra. But then I had that little situation where I had to go to the emergency room, and I've been seeing all these different specialists and this and that. That flexible spending is gone, and we're in April. I got the rest of the
Mhm.
year, and I'm like, wow, and it's like we should have took out more. Well, if you knew that you was going to go through all of this, you would have took out more, but you don't know. And I'm not saying that my insurance is not covering; it's covering over 90% of everything, but it's still, those $40 every time you go see somebody, it adds up. Before you know it, it's like, man, that's gone. The pills, the medicine, and this and that. Because when you show up to the pharmacy and they say, okay, it's going to be this much more on top of what your insurance already paid, it gets tough. It really gets tough. And that's where people are making life decisions at the pharmacy, or life decisions when they're filling out that form, what I'm saying, to which way do I go? Do I cover, or do I, it's great if you're eligible or to use the state, but somebody got to pay for that. That's not free. But and that, so there are people that use the state for their kids, and they'll put their kids on state insurance where they, because I make too much. Unfortunately, I make too much to reap the benefit, but I don't make enough to pay the premiums or everything on the insurance.
Yeah.
So
How about that?
yeah. So I know we're there. I know we're there. Like I said, you get a certain type of car, you're paying more insurance for it. You get a
Yeah.
certain type of house, you're paying more. You get a certain type of dog, a certain type of pet, you're paying
Hey,
more insurance.
now a
So
dog, a dog injury can send you to the poorhouse. If you
no,
talking
yeah.
about making life decisions, and I know you're a dog owner, and so was I. And I've never had insurance, but man, there's been times I wish I had because it's just like wow. But let me say this: when you talk about making life decisions, and with all us on this, with a room full of men, we'd be remiss if we don't mention the fact that while we complain about the cost of insurance, a lot of times we don't utilize the benefits that we have. Colonoscopies, prostate exams, even getting your teeth cleaned. You know, how many other times a year they allow you to they pay for you to get your teeth cleaned. These are preventive things that can help us along the way. That is, and I'm not talking about us as I'm just talking about men in general. That we and people in general, but specifically, let's talk about men since we're talking about the men's journal, the gentleman's journal. We don't deal with, we don't take advantage of what we can take advantage of. And like, how many times do you hear about somebody having a problem and they hadn't even been for a checkup? They hadn't been for their annual physical. They hadn't had a colonoscopy or prostate exam, even a PSA blood work done. You know, so I think, man, we have to also incorporate that and say, okay, let's hopefully that prevention is the best way to go with a lot of things. You know, if you the earlier you know something, your situation, the sooner you define a problem, you halfway there to fixing it. You know, so that's just my 2 cents, my public service announcement, because I had that conversation a lot, unfortunately, in the last couple of years. You know, with guys who have insurance and haven't been for checkups, haven't gotten things done that they should have gotten done. So
I mean, I think that's a real good topic, a real good, comment that you made, because it is something that we don't take advantage of. You have the insurance, but you're not using the insurance. You know, you
right.
got good insurance. And most of it is dealing with health. I mean, I don't get any extra or privilege for my car insurance for going
Mm-hmm.
to get my car checked up and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some programs out there for that too. You know, I see. Yeah, was it is it who is it? Ice T? Ice T be on here talking about all the different programs you can have with your car and this and that. You know, because
Yeah.
the warranty, your warranty is going to run out, and they're having
Mm-hmm.
that extra, to cover all this other stuff. So again, we're not trying to, like I said, we're not selling anything. These are
Mm-hmm.
products you use in any way, every day,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, and you can look at it as it's a scam, but when you need it, it's good to be there. You want it to be there. The military tell us this, and I'm sure you've heard it in many ways. It's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it.
Yeah.
And that's the big part right there, because when it does come up and you need it, that's not the time. It's like, oh man, I wish I had it. And the thing is, read the policy, because Walt, you made a comment, and that was something that I wanted to touch on, because Cologuard. So you can get the Cologuard, the new way to do the colonoscopy, this and that. But if you use Cologuard and it comes back that you have something, and then you have to go get the real colonoscopy, some insurance won't cover.
Wow.
They
Okay.
won't cover
I
because
didn't
they
know
see you
that.
already had the colonoscopy because you use Cologuard. So you've
Mm.
already had one, so they don't look at it that way.
So is the Cologuard an insurance thing, or is that something you could pay out of pocket? I thought that was an out of pocket thing. That's an insurance thing.
My insurance covered mine. I did it with
Okay. Yeah.
so they covered mine.
Let me ask you
But
guys this: how do you feel about just just like, how often do you revisit your policies? How often do you go look, revisit your stuff to make sure? Because we have life events, right? We changing. Like, I'm an AARP guy, right? I love the AARP. I couldn't wait to get my card, and I got it at 50, and I love them. But usually, that's my starting point. And there's a lot of services that they offer to seniors that sorry, all of us is probably what we're all AARP age, right?
I don't know
So
what's age. What's age?
I thought it was. I got my card at 50, but I'm 62 now,
Mm.
so I call them for everything. But they're the ones that saved me like $600 a year on my insurance. But I had, I'm on the phone with them reevaluating everything, yada yada yada, and I changed the homeowners on a piece of property too. So there's services out there, man, because it seems like everybody's overwhelmed, right? It's like you want to get to it, but you just keep kicking the can down the road, and then things go wrong. So I make it my business now, man, and just like, instead of just evading these things or avoiding these things, I just get it done. And it's like, man, I'm undefeated. I'm like 5-0 for evaluating my situations. Same thing with your it's like your cable company. You paying too much money, and you tell them you're going to leave, and they tell you, oh, we can save you this amount of money. Well, you've been getting me for this money for the last so many years, but your insurance company never calls you and tells you that, oh, we can lower your rate. Like that age, like 18. Oh man, if you were 25, when I turned 25, oh man, if you were married and I get married, oh well, Mr. John, it's just always a scam to me. It's always like the horizon. You'll never get there. You'll never get to the horizon. You can never get to the horizon. It's always out of the way for me with this insurance thing, man. So I'm AARP, man, kind of fixed that for me this year.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
I've never used it, so I have to look more into it. And for whatever reason, I still think I'm 40 something. So so
Good. How's that working out for you, champ?
that's the senior citizen people. Look at, you got his stuff right there. Look
Hey
at
man, and I mean just the services, just to make a comparison, just to have a
Mhm.
conversation. Their goal, their job, not their job. Well, that's what they do. Their mission statement is to help you out. And I mean,
Mm,
so if you're not sure about something, man, just run it past them. You'd be
I got you.
surprised. You'd be
No,
surprised.
no. I mean, I
Mhm.
appreciate that because it's
Mhm.
again we're talking about for those who have come and thank you. This is the Gentleman's Journal, part of the Iron Sharpening Iron Show. Got a panel up here, and we're discussing insurance and all kinds of the goods, the bads, and the uglies with insurance. And it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. But when you're paying all the money that you pay in, if you sat down and add up how much you're paying into insurance for all the different things that you did, all the different, things that you probably never used, but you pay anyway. It's like, man, I could have saved that money. And I think, Fred, you made a comment about if you were good with your finances, some of these things you might be able to maybe
Self-insure.
invest and then do it yourself.
Mhm.
So, can you explain a little bit what you were saying with that, Fred, about
Well,
using?
if you have in some insurance and say it costs you $25 a month for that insurance, if you put that same $25 in an investment account, it makes the same money as the insurance company makes with it. But you have to be strong with your money and not say, "Oh, I need some money. Let me go over here and take $100 out of that pot." But you got to, if you're strong with your money, you can save the money to take care of your needs when certain things happen to you. And the easy one is that cell phone one. If you know it costs you $3 a month for the cell phone, well, you got to have a little jar and put $3 a month into that cell phone to help cover a repair when it's time to get a repair.
Okay, I mean that's legit. I mean, the thing is, I mean, I would say the fact that I know if I put it on right now and I got my insurance, uh, and something happened tomorrow, I got that money is there. It's not like you say I got to build it up in with your fine, which is like you say. There's plans where it's all about like a savings plan. You're not even looking like it's no. I don't have that one. And the reason I didn't go with the savings plan with my insurance, my health insurance, because I have kids. And I'm like, I know one of them are going to fall, trip, do something, hurt themselves, and I'm going to the emergency room sometime in their life, especially as having athletes, because you already know there's going to be. So I remember being in high school and even in the boys' club, and they gave us that insurance, and you signed a little paper, but you had to lose a limb for them to pay. It wasn't. Did you lose an eye? No. Well, we don't pay for that. Did you lose your arm? No, we don't pay for that. So even though you paid whatever it was like if you had to lose, I mean, really, you had to lose a limb for them to even cover anything. I broke two vertebrae, but I don't think the school insurance paid anything towards that. That was all off of my mom, and I thank her for having insurance. But I know it costs a lot to go see all those specialists and the medicines and all of that. So, but you don't think about that when you're young and you're a kid because you don't see the bill. You don't see how much it costs. You don't see, you just doing your thing. But when you get older and now the bills are starting to come in, and it's like this one. Now, here's a big one. Here's one for you. When you do get your insurance bill, fellas, I'm asking you all this. You get your insurance bill and it comes in. Is that something you just kick in the back corner? I'll get to it when I get to it. Then you better pay it up front, or how we working with this? And I'm gonna go with you, Pete. Go ahead. I'm gonna go with you, Pete.
Well, you know what? To be honest with you, my wife takes care of that. We discuss it, but that's one of her strengths. She's disciplined when it comes to that, making sure that, the family's protected, and she's really good at that. That's something that, from the beginning, when we sat down before we went on that journey of marriage, that, that's something that she wanted to do, and I was okay with that.
I'm good. I'm good. So I'm gonna go with you, Fred. What's it? So the bill came
Uh,
in. We're gonna let it stay
y-
in that
y-
corner.
yeah, what I do with in most of my insurances, I pay it for a year at a time.
Mm,
In my house insurance, I pay it a year at a time, so I don't have to worry about it once a year. Car insurance, pay it every 6 months. Only had to worry about it twice a year. But I try to pay those things because I don't want to see it every month and have to worry
Mhm.
about paying it every month. So I try to pay those insurance type things
Mm.
once a year.
no, that's a very good point. And if you can do that, that's definitely that's good. Now, I'm not so
Yeah.
much talking about the premiums for your insurance. I'm talking about the bill for which your insurance didn't cover.
Right, right.
So,
Mm.
so what happens when that bill come in?
So I've been pretty fortunate. Like I said, I got pretty good insurance policies, health insurance, and for my wife and I, and my daughter's grown. So when it comes in, I pay it, and fortunately, it hasn't been anything really crazy. But let me say this real quick. As far as looking at your bill, when my father passed, it's been 26 years. I was in the hospital with him every day, 17 days. He was in ICU, 17 days. And when I went through the bill, when I saw the actual bill, even what I didn't have to pay out of his estate, I saw a lot of charges that I disputed, over $100,000 worth of people. Oh, this doctor was there. Obviously, he was not there. I was there. This doctor was not there. Then it got to, oh well, if he consulted, it's like he was there. Okay, but I really went back and forth with the insurance company, and here's the crazy part: they told me, "Don't worry about it, sir. It's not coming out of your pocket." But I'm like, "But you're my premiums or because I was under the same insurance, as a matter of fact, because that money's going, like you said, Jack. Somebody's got to pay for that, right?"
Hmm.
Absolutely.
So and that's the thing, man. That's something that always gets me. Same with your credit card gets somebody beats you out of the credit card, out of money on your credit card. Hey man, I need somebody to go to jail. I need somebody to die, not die for this, but I need somebody to pay for this, man. Oh, don't worry about it. We just put the money back in your account and your insurance covers it. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Somebody's got to pay for it, right? So when I pay them, when they send me money, man, I don't like owing anybody anything, man. When they send me a bill, excuse me, I try to pay it because you gotta pay your taxes. This is life tax, man. It's the cost to pay to live, man. So the price it costs to live, I just pay it because if not, there may be a time when I'm gonna need it. And I mean, fortunately, I haven't had. I'm not there yet. But hey, man, one life event can just send you to the poorhouse, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
No, and that is legit right there. And the
yeah,
big thing I was trying to get out of this, and y'all hit it all, so that's I appreciate it. Was that not paying the bill? It's not going to make it go away,
right,
but it will affect your credit. It
right,
will affect you because that thing start adding up. When it's saying 30 days past due, 60
yeah,
days past due, 90 days past due, then they sending it to collections and stuff like that.
yeah.
Something that started as is bad enough that you already got whatever was going on, but then you got to add in the fact that now that
Hmm.
bill is now sitting in collections or whatever because of the fact that you didn't pay it or you couldn't pay it. So I do notice on medical and that they have like payment plans and we can work something out and this and that. So those are some of the benefits that you do have with your insurance to say, hey, I can, if nothing else, I can uh, uh, I could try to do something because it adds up quick. It costs a lot of money to pay insurance to the point that some places now you got to pay an actual fee to get the fire department to come to your house, and that was like crazy. That if you don't pay that fee, they ain't coming. So like what? So like my house could be burning down, but no, you didn't pay your fee. So it's so much stuff going on out there, and you can say that's the biggest scam ever because if it's a fire, they're gonna come, but not necessarily. No different than like you say when you first walk into the hospital emergency room, they ask you, do you have insurance? Because
Yeah.
they're looking at how are we going to get paid. You know, you're not going to just be walking up in here and no different with your car, no different with your home, no different with like I say, we was getting ready to go on a trip to Iceland for vacation just before COVID. So we had already booked the airline, we had booked the hotels, we booked everything, and then COVID hit,
Mm.
and we wasn't the only ones going, but we got all our money back, the airline, the hotels, everything, because COVID, and we had the insurance, and it was like it
Wow.
wasn't anybody's fault. Here's your money back. There was other people they say we can give you a
Credit.
credit,
Yeah.
and when COVID go away, you can come on, but
See you in 3 years. Yeah.
yeah, and I was like, wow, that's crazy that, that's how it works. But fellas, it's hard to believe it's already been over an hour. I thank you all for being on here with me and hanging out with me. Brother Keith Mercer, Frederick Jackson, and Walter Jernigan. Walt Talks down there for those who know who that man is. And we thank you all who've been hanging with us in the chat. Wonderful comments and staying with us this whole time. We wasn't trying to sell insurance. We wasn't promoting insurance. We were just talking as men about insurance and the things that we do every day anyway, and how we've benefited from it, and sometimes how it's been, it seems like a scam, but it works itself out. So, fellas, I'm going to ask you to hang back just for a brief moment as we close out this show. We thank you for watching the Iron Sharpening Iron show, the Gentleman's Journal, and part of the Iron Sharpening Iron universe. And we all bought, we bought by, well, not bought, but it's produced by BBTV. So everyone out there, you actually have a blessed rest of your week or next week, because we know this is the last day. This is Sunday. But then we'll see you next Sunday on the Iron Sharpening Iron show. We got wonderful guests lined up coming in. And check out the Iron Sharpening Iron universe and see all the different shows that we got going on. It's a big lineup, and we're getting better and better every day because we are stronger together, that if each one will reach one, we can all grow and glow. But until next time, I'm going to say good night. Have a blessed one, and we'll talk to you later. Peace.
Night, fellas. Be
Thanks.
safe.
Thanks.